Hello, everybody, and welcome to another fantastic edition of DialogBOX, the show that keeps forgetting to shave before the episode starts. It's been a very busy week for me. It's just all over. It's been this is 1 week, all right? Like just one listening to 1 week from Bare Naked Ladies, and I've already got this. It's been 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's been
a long time. I already lost my train of thought. Like I've been so nervous leading up to this because this is such a cool panel that I've got here with me today. I've got 3 very lovely guests. Who do I have? I have writer and director of Flavortown the Musical, Twitch streamer and producer for Pokethon and Zeldathon. We've got Jyggy here with us today. Hello.
Of course you would bring up Flavortown the Musical. I'm so upset.
I was lurking during that stream because I was just like getting assets ready, and I was just like, this went on for like, you just had that one song that went for 3 minutes. It was great.
Oh, the ballad? Yeah.
No. About being alone.
About being alone and wanting to express your culinary dreams.
Yeah.
Can we have a flavor of it now?
No.
I want to taste.
No.
Yeah.
This is Flavortown the Musical, the Guy Fieri biography. Yeah.
I think he's just salty.
he's a lot of flavors. Gotta get that donkey sauce in there. We also have director of Pokethon as well as a Twitch streamer. We've got Abra here with us today.
Hi. How you doing?
How does it feel to know that you can finally maybe get more TCG cards of yourself now that Uri Geller?
That announcement actually happened on my birthday last year. So I'd say it's a pretty good present, but we still haven't seen any official cards come out. I'm sure they probably got prepared a year ago. So there's going to be a bit of a cycle, but I'm excited. I'm going to get back into TCG. It's going to be great. I'm going to spend all of my money on cardboard.
Was that the whole Abra line? I thought it was just Kadabra.
It was just, I think, Kadabra.
It was just Kadabra, but the thing is, the last time Abra was printed, they had a thing where you skipped Kadabra and they never printed the Kadabra card. So it just went from Abra to Alakazam. No Kadabra in middle.
So weird.
Yeah.
Well, happy birthday.
Well,
thanks.
And finally, we have Twitch partner, members of Star Spellers, and creator of Trainers Unite. Hawk is with us here today.
Hello.
Sorry,
I spoke before I was introduced. That's probably the wrong thing to do.
No, it's like my entire there's no structure. I'm so unprofessional. It is insane. I was talking about my beard and Bare Naked Ladies for an entire minute before I even talked about anybody on the show.
Going on the beard thing, I can't do anything on that front.
No, you got something there.
You can tell I shaved last night, and I didn't get exactly all of my face. And I didn't look in the mirror afterward because I did it right before bed. So don't worry about it. You're good.
We all have no idea what to do with our facial hair is what we're the main topic of discussion today.
Mine's gone. I removed it. It was time. Yeah, I had an okay beard about 2 weeks ago, and then I was just like, all right, it's time. After I get to the point where I look like a hobo, I'm just like, all right, it's over.
You just look in the mirror and you're like, get out of here, and it all just runs away.
I'm just when I look in the mirror and I'm like, who the heck are you? What are you doing in my house? And I'm just like, all right,
it's just me.
Yeah.
How long between shaving does it take for you to get a hobo stage?
Hobo takes me about a week if I don't shave every day, but if I do, yeah, it depends. It really depends. If I trim and I can prolong the hobonius, I can prolong it. If I do a little trim and a little maybe it'll be 3 weeks, depending, a whole month if I'm lucky. But it's a matter of battling the hobo consistently. If I just go, it's a week.
See, I can't even right now. My face is entirely irritated. I can't deal with all this. So this is probably what I'll be thinking about as everyone answers their questions. I'm a very bad.
I'm thinking about was Hobonius a Harry Potter spell or not?
I got handed a box from Amazon because apparently our carbon monoxide detectors were recalled and they sent us new ones.
Nice.
The way that you got the box was almost as if Amazon walked into your home and was like, here you go.
That's what
Yeah.
I thought. I was just like, did the guy just like walk in? Did you put that in the delivery note? In the future they're gonna have drones that fly into your home, just like, you have been Bezoed. Here you go. Here is your Bezos.
Well, like, we all just get a little drone crashing through our window. It's like, shave, and it's just like a pile of shaving cream all over the floor.
Today's sponsor, Dollar Shave Club. No. It's
You gotta
funny.
protect yourself.
Type
with
in
the
Hobonius for
shave.
20% off.
Good thing is though, you could probably clip this whole intro and just send it to Dollar Shave Club, and then that would be a great segue into
Into sponsorship.
It really would be.
sponsorships.
Don't use an electric razor. You get this half shave you've got here. Use a straight blade. You can avoid the hobo down there.
I'm actually waiting for Amazon to come out with their own digital currency. Like their own cryptocurrency. It's gonna be called. No, I don't even want it to be called Bezos. I just want to call. They're called Bezos.
Oh,
Like
okay.
Bezos. Oh, here's
Like
my
a
20
peso, I
Bezos.
Yeah, that'll be
Bezos.
20 Bezos, please.
Yeah, that'll be at least one Bezo.
It's the
right?
only currency that Whole Foods will accept
How
anymore.
much is that in Musk tokens?
Oh, Musk
Oh,
token.
God, that sounds gross. That sounds like it comes with a smell.
Musk bucks.
Musk bucks.
Mucks. Dude, Mucks.
That's a Pokemon, which, by the way, is a great segue into our topic today.
Oh yeah, we were going to talk about.
We're on a
something.
podcast? What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Who?
Did I
Who are
mention
you?
that I'm a professional? I have Pokemon stuff back in my wall that tells you that I play Pokemon.
Wow,
I
you
have a
loser.
t-shirt. Look at that. Yeah, I was a loser for a little bit, and then I was a winner.
No one in their right mind would do that this day and age.
I think we all have something Pokemon related in the background, because I was wondering, I was like, do I have anything? And then I was like, oh wait,
Mr. Abra is Abra.
I have
Literally my
our Ditto.
brand. Like if I don't, then I'm
have to
betraying
have this.
everything.
yeah, I have my boy, that's my
Oh,
head.
Jesus.
I have my boy Ditto up there, dude. That's our
I was
but
about to
everything
say
else.
your Pokemon merch is the two GameCubes sitting on top of each other.
Go, Coco.
I got the
Oh,
mystery-
there's
no,
a lot. There's
there's-
a lot of GameCubes, dude.
You've got the DX or was it Coliseum or was it DX GameCube?
It was DX. It was Coliseum didn't do a GameCube. DX
Right,
did a silver one with a different faceplate.
Yeah.
Which if you guys don't know this is
With my
I know
favorite
we
Pokemon,
have
Lugia,
to go on to topics. We have to move on to topics. But if you didn't know this, GameCube, like
GameCube.
whatever they're called, like panels here are super easy to like remove. All you do is like come in here and just kind of like pull these little tabs, and then you can kind of just like pull it out, and then you can have custom GameCube panels.
Naked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so people on like Etsy and all that stuff do all kinds of really cool GameCube panels. But it's funny because they say, I doubt you can see this, but it says Nintendo on the back of these are like official. This is an official Nintendo piece of plastic.
I sure hope so. Paid a lot for that plastic.
I mean,
Sorry,
yeah, no,
GameCube
isn't
ran
like
over.
every Nintendo console Nintendo plastic?
Yeah, but this is like special plastic.
it's
You know, like I'm saying, like, we
Nintendonium.
did not need to put the logo on the back of this little tabby thing, you know?
Yeah.
But they did.
Made
They
by
printed
Miyamoto
Master
Plastics.
Chief on like the motherboard of the Xbox One. Of course, brands love that stuff.
Oh yeah. You got to get that Titanfall 2 Xbox to watch American Gods on it, because that's the only thing I ever use my Xbox for.
True,
Speaking of
true.
Xboxes, that's an excellent segue into our topic today.
Sure.
So I brought everyone here, everyone from Trainers Unite and Pokethon and all that, all the fundraising communities together to talk about Trainers Unite. If you don't know that this is well, actually, no. I'm going to make y'all explain it, because that is literally my first question. What is Trainers Unite? We can talk about when it takes place, how it takes place. What's the story? Morning Glory.
Dan?
Hello. Trainers Unite was an idea I had. I don't know, probably. When did we start actually making it? Maybe 5-6 months ago, something like that. It was partly inspired by things like Pokethon and all these sort of charity events that I was watching and seeing, and I kind of wanted to do something like that. But the thing that Trainers Unite is basically all about is the fact that it's open to anyone. It's not like we handpick 12 participants and then they all just do a live stream on one channel. It literally can be anyone and everybody that wants to play Pokemon, that wants to raise money, and wants to help towards different causes every year. This year we're supporting Stop AAPI Hate, which we'll talk more about later. But basically, it's open to anyone and everyone to play Pokemon, create, talk, chat, whatever they want to do around Pokemon, and raise money for some good charities, essentially.
Yeah, you came to us on May 12th with just the general, like, hey, I'm doing this. Do you guys want to be a part of it? And initially I was like, wow, that's kind of close to secrets, but, something that may be coming up in a month that, might be something to look out for towards the end of the event that we might announce. But it's very interesting. We'd love to help you out. And we kind of also were at the time like, this kind of is a very good idea. And Jyggy, you were actually at that very same time doing TRG Coliseum, I believe.
Oh, it was BB for G.
It was BB for G.
Which was the week after TRG Coliseum.
Yeah, but you were basically thinking of doing a very similar event, if you want to talk more about basically how the worlds collided.
We basically were thinking about when it comes to Pokethon. Abra's our executive producer, and I work as a producer for Pokethon, and we have really, really amazing stuff that's coming in down the line and in the works, with kind of expanding and trying to figure out how we can be part of the Pokemon community even more. And that the big thing that I really wanted was Pokethon is an invite only event. It's something that where we talk to our core team. They go and they tell us who they think would be great, like creator wise in the community, and then we of course then extend them an invite. But the one thing that I feel, and this kind of goes along with why was such a good synergy and why we were super excited to start working with Hawk on this, is we wanted to do an event and we wanted to start moving in a direction that involved anyone and everyone that likes Pokemon, that is a fan of the Pokemon series, whether it be games, movies, music, or anything. When it comes to Pokemon, we wanted them to like Pokethon and have it become something that they feel connected to, as in that's something good in the Pokemon community. So we started, discussions, doing some stuff on the Pokethon channel. What are we gonna do? What's the plan? And then Abra messaged me with what Hawk was doing, and then I got a message from Steph of Anime about what Hawk was doing, and I got all these different people that were like, "Oh, hey, they're doing this charity event," and I was just like, "Well, can we be involved in some way? Either let us help with the production or give Hawk tips or anything." And it was one of those things where we got on a call with Hawk, and Hawk just said, yeah, why don't we just do it together? And so that was the first step of kind of saying, okay, Trainers Unite. We took a look at what Hawk had. Hawk did so much legwork finding people, finding creators already, and we were just like, okay, let's come on in and give it a little bit of a Pokethon pizzazz, do a little marketing and make sure that everyone is involved. And it just started today and we already have so many people involved, and I'm super excited about it because of the amount of opportunity that it gives so many people that love Pokemon to kind of work with us, and the fact that we got so many people involved, it really is great. It's great. I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, it's something that allows for anybody in the Pokemon community to be involved, not just, the big names out there who do find the event, but the small streamers. We've got people with 5-10 viewers streaming all to the same cause, all adding up to the same super total, and every dollar gets counted at that endpoint number. It allows for everyone to get involved, everyone to have this place where, as the name suggests, the trainers unite. The people who are just on Twitch either. We've got some a lovely member of the community, Maeve. She put out a song that she made just for this event with a donation link. We've got people on TikTok. I know another podcast, I Choose You, which is talking about eating Pokemon, is doing a special episode where we're raising money today. So, like, it's not just limited to Twitch streams. It allows for anybody who can put that Tiltify donation link in what they're doing to raise money and contribute to a similar cause.
Awesome. And I think that really, that answers my second question of what makes this experience different from other fundraising activities. So really, it's just about being able to bring the community together, like I keep forgetting, like Poketuber, but not just that. It's like in a completely expanded range of people. And I've been seeing a lot of this since we have the Discord open, and we're seeing a lot of people continue to pour in and support. But people who have never really done this before. And I think the one thing for me that I'm really like ecstatic about is, so we did the Pokethon episode in 2019, Abra. I think that was you, Campy, and MC. And in that episode, we were trying to discuss, like, if I were to try and get into this, and if I wanted to do like a charity fundraiser, like either solo or as a group, then, using this as a resource, like, how do I do that? What are the things behind it? What do I need to know? And I think the big thing that I was really seeing in that Discord was, like, I think a lot of people are going to take away from this something really important on, I can take this experience and I can maybe apply what I learned here to something that I can do as well, like separate from either Pokethon or Trainers Unite or anything like that. And like, it really kind of gives people the tools and the knowledge in order to continue further. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Before that, I want to get into what everyone's experiences are working in the fundraising field. How does that experience help bring Trainers Unite together? And Abra, you can go first.
So I think I covered this back on the 2019 podcast episode I did, but I started the first Pokethon in my bedroom in my parents' house back in 2013 using the little bit of fame I had from the Pokemon Reddit. That was the first charity fundraiser we did, though technically it was called Pokemonathon, because the Extra Lives crew, not Extra Lives like the charity event that's similar, but back then there was another marathon that existed called Extra Lives. They had a Pokethon, so I didn't want to use their name. They disbanded about a couple years later. I asked the creator we could use their name. He said it's cool. So we're doing that now. We're using the Pokethon name for the proper event. But I've been running those Pokethons. In 2019, we had a major shift that allowed a lot of really amazing personalities and creators to join in. I think the year after I started Pokethon, I was invited to Zeldathon from MC, and I raised money with them. I was an assistant producer on the first TRG Coliseum. I've just been so happy to help fundraise and to help the community grow and exist and expand, and to be involved in so many different ways that, the games that I love are providing just a fraction of the good that I feel like they've given me in my life. And I'm happy to still be a part of it and continue to be a part of it.
Awesome. Hawk, how about you?
I did a fun run when I was like 8. That's probably...
All right, Jyggy, you're up.
Yeah.
I must have raised at least £10, I think. I don't know, it's probably...
Hey, that's £10 that wouldn't have been raised otherwise.
£10 of some charity I can't remember what I ran for, but you're welcome. Nothing really. I've done some... you mentioned the Star Spillers before, who is my stream team that I'm a part of. We've done a few like events stream team wise in terms of raising money for certain causes. Done some work for Save the Children. It's escaping what the other one was. It was Black Lives Matter as well. So aside from those two, I've not really done anything in terms of fundraising or aside from the fun run. So nothing particularly, especially zero experience in running or getting together or managing any sort of charity thing. So I literally most of the time just sit back and just like, Abra, what on earth am I doing? Jyggy, what are we doing now? So I'm kind of just learning on the spot because it's my first foray into managing charity work and all that sort of stuff. But it's fun. It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to do this than it is running.
Yeah, I was gonna
For
say
me- for me, at
a
least.
pretty big step from
Yeah.
running some personal charity events and then like all of a sudden getting up to here and
Yeah,
yeah.
it's yeah, it was yeah. uh, it's interesting in that I didn't know how much work goes behind the scenes in terms of coordinating everything, put everything together. Because in my mind, if it wasn't for Pokethon and Abra and Jyggy and Kelly and all these other amazing people helping us out, like I can't even begin to think what the event would have looked like if it was just me organizing it.
Mhm.
Because it would have literally just been me asking people, hey, yeah, and then no graphics, no amazing 12-hour live streams, no coordinated events, no shared platforms, no amazing Discord with all these gadgets and information and documents and all this sort of stuff. So it's very much learning on the spot, but it's very exciting and it's very interesting, and I definitely would like to keep doing that because it's a lot of fun. But aside from that and the fun run, nothing.
No,
I w-
and like I said before though, but Hawk did so much legwork before we even like started talking to the point where it was like, I talked to Abra after our first call. And I'm just like, so what do we got to do? Because it was mostly done. Like there was so much.
It's kind of crazy because, like, from Hawk's perspective, we've done so much, and then from our perspective, Hawk's done so much. But
Yeah.
it takes a lot to make these things real, and that's something people don't really know.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, right before we even started the stream, I had even mentioned it. Like one of the things I really like doing with this podcast is try to learn more about things that I have no clue or understanding about whatsoever. And so, if I have these questions, I have to assume that other people do too. And so, doing these podcasts and doing these episodes are like all about not only just like helping other people get their footing, but really also me. Like it'd be great to know what these things are, but it also kind of comes with the caveat of, I don't really even know how to ask the questions sometimes. And looking at the Discord that everyone was going through and looking at all the people that were asking or giving help, I was like, wow, there's still a lot that I don't quite realize what goes into this. Like seeing like the node and everything and how the actual donation bar works for just alone, like in order to make this work for multiple people to join the same team and to actually get this done virtually like this is, to me, it looks like this Herculean effort of trying to make sure that everything is working, that everyone understands how it's supposed to work. So yeah, it's a very big thing that I feel like I'm still gonna have more questions after this is all over.
If it makes you feel any better, I still don't know how the Dode works, so don't worry, you're fine.
One of these days.
Yeah, we'll figure it out eventually, I'm sure.
Yeah. Hopefully before the week is over. Oh yeah, that's
I wouldn't place any bets.
In terms of getting it together, Hawk, I guess this is mainly a question for you, but feel free to chime in, Abra and Jyggy. But what inspired the idea of just doing this community-based marathon in the first place?
I was watching a lot of charity streams, essentially. Like I've watched Pokethon 2 or 3 times before, not fully all the way, but I've gone in and out, and I've been aware of like I wasn't aware of Jyggy or Abra before we started. I mainly knew Step of Anime, some of the other creators that were involved, and then I heard tale of them all coming together in under one roof, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. So mainly just through other charity events and kind of just brainstorming it to think, how can I make that more accessible to everybody? Because having all these big events, having Pokethon and having all these other big events is fantastic. Like, I'm sure they bring in bucket loads of money for great causes, but they're kind of closed off, rightfully so, obviously, for what they do and how they do it. But making an event where it's open to anybody and you have complete control over what you do. It was just taking lots of little ideas from all these different charity places and bringing them together into one space, basically. So basically just a lot of watching Twitch, a lot of watching YouTube and seeing all these charity events and people doing fundraising pop up, and then just thinking, that would be cool to do. How can we do that? And how can I get all my people that I know to do that as well and make it more accessible? So basically just watching stuff. It's easy as that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, we get a lot of messages of like, how can I be involved in Pokethon? What can I do for Pokethon? And like a lot of what it is we need staff a lot of the time more than anything else. Like, technological staff, designers, graphical
Marketing
artists,
team.
marketing
Marketing team.
team. People can fill those positions, but when it comes to like the actual attendees, like Pokethon as an event is a lot more closed off because we kind of want it to be this like a very concentrated, like very well tuned recipe of creators that work well with each other, that know each other, that have these very supporting and loving communities. And making sure we get the right attendees is a process, and it's not an open thing, unfortunately. But everybody has this drive for good in them in some capacity, and everybody wants to do good, and they see these good events. And I feel like, just having something out there that anybody from what was your example that you always bring up, like Bill the Mareep trainer or something like that?
Oh yeah, Bill, Joey the Magikarp man.
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
My favorite streamer ever.
But and kind of moving off like what Abra said, and also kind of going back to the other question. My big thing is when I started streaming, I wanted my own show, obviously, but it's one of those things where I still know this. I mean, maybe, hopefully one day, but I will never be able to just hand $1 million to a cause that I like. I maybe, hopefully one day, but I will never be able to do that. And so when I first started like getting involved with like Zeldathon and when Pokethon, and then I've been lucky enough that I'm very good friends with the Direct Relief Gaming team, so I'm a producer on those events as well. But it's a matter of like, how can we give back? And so when I first started, it was a matter of what can I do to get involved with these larger things, such as Zeldathon? What can I do? And back then it was a community-based thing. You could join up, and eventually you might get an invite. But we've moved in a direction now where it's very different. You have to be careful who comes to events and who's in that situation. But the one thing that I really wanted, and I did a show about, I don't know, I guess 3 months ago, back in March, called BB4G. It was a big broadcast for good. It was for St. Jude. We did it on my channel, and there was a block of the show called the Community Broadcaster block or something. I think it was like the Community Showcase. And these are people that just relatively started streaming and wanted to come to Pokethon, or wanted to be involved in Zeldathon or whatever, but just because of the fact that they don't have the experience and didn't have that they aren't, we can't have them there yet.
Yeah.
I wanted to allow them to have a spot, and I wanted to vet them and figure out what we could do to have them be able to do their show and raise money and be involved with it. And then it kind of just moved on to like what I was talking with Abra, which is why can't we just let it be open? Why can't and Hawk's big thing the moment that we first talked to him was that everyone should be allowed to be involved. And so that is kind of been the overarching goal for this entire event, has been everyone's involved. We're marketing people. We are like, if people post in the Discord their clips, those are going to be converted into, we have like a marketing video for later that shows off those people. We have, if you search #TrainersUnite on twitch.tv right now, it comes up with everybody who's broadcasting right now. There's so many people already broadcasting for Trainers Unite, and it's super exciting. Like Abra said before, there are people with hundreds of viewers, and there are people that have 20 or 30. It's amazing, because they're all going to help make a difference, whether or not that you raise $25 for Stop AAPI Hate or $2,000. It adds up, and it's just really, really cool that we get to do that, you know. And the big thing is, and this is kind of goes with Abra a little bit. What Abra said is, Trainers Unite is not really under the Pokethon umbrella of event. It's more alongside. It's really under, and I'm sure Abra's going to touch on this later, the full restore. You know, we're producing it, but it's alongside Pokethon. Pokethon is the you know, we have our big guys, you know, big, huge, massive Pokemon creators coming together in this tight knit, you know, every segment is crazy and we plan out months in advance. And Trainers Unite is everybody gets to do anything they want. And we've had so many amazing things already that are just blowing the water, like blowing it out of the water. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
go ahead. One of the things we're doing right now is fundraising for Trainers Unite. So like, you can literally just whatever your heart desires, as long as it's Pokemon and positive, go for it.
Yeah. Yes, and you can even donate. Like if I type in the ! donate, a link should pop up, and you can also donate using Tiltify. Hopefully, it's all connected. Hopefully, it works. I tested it. I promise. But yeah, I think one of the nice
$10 and we do truth or dare, by the way.
They're already adding incentives. This is some high level stuff.
Yeah, every donation.
I dare Jyggy to.
What are you gonna dare me to? What's the dare?
I'll think about it throughout the show.
Is it be quiet? What do you want? What do you want from me? I can't go to a roast like
we need you to break all of your GameCube panels.
He will not do that.
Hawk went to a roast before the podcast. Everybody,
I did.
Jealous,
I did go to a roast.
It was a roast,
which Jyggy didn't know about.
No, I didn't know. I didn't know if he was roasting like food or if it was like a roast, like, you know, like, oh man, Abra, you're really stinky, you know.
There are two different kinds.
Is this the roast of Abra now?
No. We won't roast Abra.
No, that's not until we have our 10th year anniversary.
No.
One of the donation incentives I was thinking about, like, what if we did a Pokethon or Pokemon Unite stream, and every $5 donation somebody has to say something nice about their teammate instead of getting upset and angry. No, I think it's great that you didn't go for Zapdos and went for somebody else over on the side. No, that's excellent.
I really like how you've been conservative with your healing, so much so that it has gotten you killed multiple times.
I really appreciate you not supporting me.
Thank you for killing the monkey instead of killing the guy who killed me.
That's right.
You guys are great, all up there in that lane while I'm down here alone in mine.
That's right.
Fine.
You said you'd go bottom, but you went top anyway. But that's fantastic. I love that you're such a critical thinker.
You've got 3 people in jungle. It's perfectly fine.
That's right. Yeah, none of them are speedsters. I love how you're just thinking on your feet. It gets like really just like strained. Everyone's just great teammates. Speaking of, so Trainers Unite provides a lot of tools for participants who may not have participated in fundraising activities before, and I actually skipped a previous question, so we'll just come back to it. How do you feel about Trainer Unite's impact on the social change community and any future fundraising activities?
I hope it's big.
Fingers crossed.
Sorry, I was typing something out. So,
well, I would just we've not really talked long-term goals because it's mainly just been focused on this first event and making sure everything works fine with it. But for me, when I first thought about it, the idea is that it's not just going to be focused on one specific charity. Every year it's going to change, and every event is going to change, and we're going to be supporting different things. We may even do things like pop-up events where you know, if there's something going on in the world that needs immediate, you know, relief or time or money going towards it, then we could do pop-up things like that. So in terms of I would like it to be, obviously I would love it to be as big as it can be, but as long as it's being used as a tool for things that I genuinely, or that we all genuinely think need that little bit extra help, then I can only say it would be a success. But in terms of like, I guess, social change, that would be great. Imagine with like household names. So, oh yeah, Trainers Unite,
Oh yeah, no,
Pokethon.
Trainers Unite is
Yeah,
coming up.
Yeah,
you know, and I've been thinking a
2
lot
grand.
about I've been thinking a lot about like the future, the goals, and everything when it comes to these, you know, these events. It's I'm very excited about how Trainers Unite really is going to be. Like I said, I kind of mentioned it before, how they are, you know, Pokethon and Trainers Unite, you know, though it's under the Full Restore umbrella, it's under the, you know, Pokethon umbrella or whatever you want to call it. In reality, the goals is just very much to continue to do amazing stuff that involves the Pokemon community, because there are just so many talented people that are just absolutely amazing, genuinely kind people in the Pokemon community. And I'm just really excited to keep doing shows with them. You know, I'm excited to kind of just always have that beacon of light come from both, you know, Trainers Unite and Pokethon and all the stuff that we do. You know, that's kind of the goal.
Abra, did you have anything?
It's interesting because when we did our shift from, I would say, the legacy Pokethon to the more modern version of Pokethon, it became an event where it wasn't friends, but it was, a much more different format to the event. And being able to now allow those friends, allow anybody to come back in, and to kind of keep it in this open, happy, like unique fundraising sense is definitely the direction I want to keep growing in, to make it so it's something that isn't just, trying to get the words right. It isn't just, a strict, event, but it is more of an open, expressive, unique take on fundraising, and it just allows for things that we've never seen for in the fundraising space to grow and develop. It has so much potential, and I'm very excited to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, I think, like I mentioned before, one of the big things that I could see coming from this is this really kind of becomes this own program where, because I feel like a lot of people who come into this space or came into the Discord didn't really have any experience or had very little experience about how to do the setup or what they would do, and maybe have some struggles in terms of figuring out things like incentives or different charity event ideas. And having the community come together with the help of like the technical team, and just everyone who's just behind this that has the experience, it almost became like a mentorship program of like different fundraising ideas and activities and how to do it. And so people can kind of walk away from Trainers Unite and kind of go, you know what, now I have maybe some of the technical background, or maybe I have some additional learning that I can then apply elsewhere. And so now you would continue to have people come in from previous Trainers Unite fundraising, but continue to have like I'm losing the word all of a sudden, but continue to have a new wave of like new people that are interested in participating. They saw it last year, they saw what could be done, and they want to join in too. And so they come in next year, and then they can learn and figure everything out. Like that was just something that I was noticing throughout, the last, what was it? How long have I been in that Discord? Like a couple weeks. And just kind of seeing that, and people kind of asking questions and getting help and understanding better how to do this. And hopefully they walk away from it with a totally new experience under their belt.
Can I ask where you learned about it?
Where I learned about Trainers Unite.
Yeah.
That is an interesting question to give to other people, but now I'm thinking about it.
So
But I learned about
Abra,
it
when
because
did you learn about Trainers Unite?
Abra, how did you learn about it?
When you slid into my DMs on May 12th.
I did.
It's
you remember the date?
That's kind of crazy, though. It's only been like 2.5 months since we've started this process, and here we are.
Yeah. I learned about it because I saw the official Pokethon Twitter account with the announcement. So as soon as I saw the announcement, I was like, I wonder if there's something that I can do. And I had a couple of different ideas because I was thinking about doing a stream later on towards when Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl comes out, and do like a small charity thing then. And I was like, oh, I could do that here too. And then time got away from me. But the point is that I saw it and I was like, I know how I can contribute in different ways. So I just decided to join in on the Discord. So I think I was there as soon as the announcement hit.
I was just looking for some feedback.
Do you like Twitter? Yes, I do. No, I actually don't. It's a toxic cesspool and I hate it. But I use it because it is a drug.
Well, that's 100% of the people I've asked that question to have said they heard it from Twitter. So that's good. That one person I've asked.
Yeah, Twitter's dangerous.
Twitter is extremely dangerous. Speaking of Twitter, that's not a good segue to my next question. Speaking of Twitter, what were some challenges that you faced in putting together this community-focused marathon, and how have you been able to overcome these challenges? This is kind of a question for everybody, I think.
So I would say one of the biggest challenges that we have with this was the time frame. I would say was probably the biggest constraint that I think everybody felt. The good thing is now that we've kind of got this first one under our belt, we're going to learn a lot of things, but we're also going to have a lot more time to develop it and grow this idea out to make it so that when we do come back, there'll be a bit of a buffer. We'll have a bit more time to lead up to it. We'll have a bit more time to develop these things and to make sure these processes are thought out. Because this has been, even though Jyggy and I have been doing charity fundraising and marathons for collectively a decade or more at this point, more than that,
so scary.
We still have learned so much from just today. So
yeah. Like
it's always a learning experience, and taking what we take from these days and just ensuring we have what we need to go forward confidently to make sure that the next event is better. Because like in our minds, like, yeah, we're thinking about Trainers Unite right now, but I'm sure as heck, because I know Jyggy and I know myself, I've just been thinking nonstop about what's next.
Yeah.
What's the next major event? How are we going to build into it? What are we going to do different? What are we going to do the same? What are we going to focus on? What are we not going to focus on? Things like that. Just a lot of that.
So I imagine after the end of this week, there's going to be a big conference call.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing, just riding off of what Abra says, is like, this is the first Trainers Unite. There's a lot of stuff today itself. We're not even halfway through the day. It's at 3 p.m. Eastern, and like there is so much stuff that I have learned just from watching, not only on the Pokethon channel where we have our 12-hour kickoff event, but we also just from going into different streams and going into the people that have the hashtag Trainers Unite in their title. It's one of those things where it's just like, all right, I now have like a whole document of like ideas of how to make the next time we do it just a smidge better, just a little bit, where it's just like, oh, we can do this a different way. The number one thing is for me is that I was so worried about people with our donation bar. We actually are, I think Trainers Unite is one of the first charity events to that like a team-based charity event to have a custom donation bar that every single user, everyone can use if they set it up. And it's a little challenging to set up. I think we did a decent job of putting it, putting up our technical guy, the guy who does it. His name is Danny Lockhart. He's absolutely amazing.
Oh, Danny's
he's
amazing.
a whiz with Tiltify. But it's one of those things where the number one thing, I want it to be so simple next time that like you can just copy a link and put it into OBS. That's the goal. The goal is that it's just one link and you can get it into OBS, and it's all the customization and everything that we have going on. Just because right now it requires you to like download a thing and run a server and this and that, and I understand why it's intimidating if some people. It's easy, but I understand why it's intimidating some people.
Yeah.
Yep.
Especially if they have never done it before, and again,
which nobody has.
Yeah, Like, yeah,
No.
especially people that haven't done donation charity events before are now utilizing something that nobody's ever used before, so that can get a little confusing.
Yep.
The one thing I was going to say that I had issues with was the bit that I did in the beginning before Abra and Jyggy and Pokethon got involved. Messaging everybody that I wanted to be involved with. I've probably, on the first day where I actually sat down and started working on it, I had probably messaged through Twitter, email, Discord, all of them combined, at least over like 100, 120 different people. So there was a lot of copying and pasting, and so many messages got buried. So between that and now, and answering everybody's questions and brainstorming with them, and doing all the technical stuff, and just keeping track of messages is something that I found is really difficult, because I'll find that I'll get a message from somebody, and then I'll go, right, yeah, I know the answer to that, and then nothing. I don't do anything about it. I just leave it because there's another message, and then I go, oh, yep, yeah, I could do that. Yep, boop, boop, boop. And then I'm behind on like 14 different messages, and especially on that the first couple days where I was sending those initial feelers and invites out, it was a lot of oh, I already messaged you twice about the same thing, I'm so sorry. I haven't messaged that person yet. So just keeping track of everything is, I'm sure it will get easier as it goes on, because now that we have a lot of those people in, I won't have to do that again, because now we've got a good base for all that sort of stuff. But just keeping track of messages and keeping on top of the to-do list was because it was a lot in the beginning, was interesting and fun.
Yeah.
And challenging.
I think communication is definitely a really from my perspective, communication is like the most important but also the hardest thing to have to do. And that's a very relatable problem.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So we did just get a donation.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
Whoops.
Lizzie.
Lizzie.
Let's go see if we got a message.
Are we getting some impromptu truth or dare?
Lizzie, truth or dare? What do you want us to do?
Yeah, ask us a question. I didn't set it up on the Tiltify. We just made it up on the spot.
Yeah.
Um,
we can't say another word until she. No, I'm joking.
no, absolute silence. It's very important. Actually, so if they want to give us a little truth or dare question, then we can do that. If not, we'll just.
Can't believe that's become a thing.
Congratulations! Welcome to fundraising.
Yeah.
That's how easy it is to set up incentives sometimes, and that's how dangerous they can be.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
truth or dare, end the stream.
I forbid that one. Speaking of donation and charity, can we talk a little bit about the organization that the marathon is supporting, and what is the cause? How is Trainers Unite supporting it?
So I'll take this one because just to give it a little bit of backstory. When I was first coming up with the event, I had in my mind that I wanted it to be a different charity every single event, so that we would be supporting as many necessary charities as possible. The one that we are supporting for this specific event is Stop AAPI Hate, which is Stop Asian Americans Pacific Islanders Hate. I'll talk more about them in a second. But the suggestion was given to me by Cafe Ella, who was absolutely wonderful and lovely, and is taking part in our next 12-hour stream, which is happening on Saturday. And she's absolutely lovely. But she basically suggested I think she had done some work for them, or done some fundraising for them before, and she suggested it. I was aware of them, but I hadn't really done the research or read into it too much, so I had no idea what they did, no idea how they did what they did, or where they're situated, or anything like that, basically. Mm-hmm. But Stop AAPI Hate, the gist of it basically is that it's a charity that was formed in 2020 in response to what was going on around COVID-19 and all that sort of stuff, where there was a particular rise in hate crimes and racially charged crimes against the Asian community in response to COVID-19. And basically what the charity is all about is they raise money to do lots of different things in terms of reducing the number of hate crimes and instances and towards the Asian community in America. So what they use the money for, essentially, one of the big things is their website. I haven't checked if they've got an app. I'll check that. But basically, their website is the leading resource in terms of reporting and acting on Asian hate crimes, and learning about how you can spot it, what sort of forms it can take place in, how you can better yourself in those scenarios, and what you can do to stop. So the money goes towards funding the website, staying up, and people on the call centers and the helplines and all that sort of stuff. They also do a lot of work in terms of legislation and policies, sort of evening the tide for the Asian community to be on more equal footing in terms of legislation, both state-wise in America, national all across America, and international all across the world. And there's one more I always forget. Oh yeah, it funds people going into particular sectors. So it might be companies, it might be educational, it might be schools of all different ages. They fund people to go into those environments, teach people about how you can spot racial hate crimes, what you can do about it, the numbers you can call, who you can get in contact with if you feel like you've seen something like that, how you can better yourself, and all that sort of stuff. So it's basically a big movement in terms of stamping down on hate crimes towards the Asian community, particularly in America, but also international as well, in response to what's been happening around COVID-19 and all that sort of stuff.
Okay. One of the things I was interested to learn is that whether or not the AAPI hate was just for specifically North America, or does it kind of go out into other international areas as well?
A lot of it is, from my research that I've seen, a lot of it is focused in on that particular area, because that's where they've noticed a very large spike in instances happening. So I think initially it was in direct response to that specific area.
Yeah.
And that's what they're mainly going towards now. From what I've read and the details that I've researched about in the run-up to this, is it's very much going to be more international as it goes on. But right now it's mainly about controlling and and stomping on the particular rise in that area, essentially. But yes, I think the international goal, not just for the Asian community, for all people of color of anything, just to to go into more international ventures and that sort of thing. Yeah.
Before we get into our next question, Lizzie has given us our dare. She wants us to make a mock Weetabix ad.
Oh, Lizzie.
That's the perfect response.
For the three Americans that are here, what is Weetabix?
Yeah, well, he's got to make the ad. He's got to
you
sell us on this product that we can't physically buy.
Weetabix now.
Yeah.
So Weetabix, it's more of a concept than a no. It's a
a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle. Yeah.
Cutco knives.
So it's basically a breakfast. It's like wheat and barley and all that sort of stuff. You mix milk into it. You can have different flavors. You can have banana. I think you can have strawberry.
Oatmeal?
I'd say it's a bit nicer than oatmeal.
Oatmeal?
Is it like a solid like oatmeal bar?
Is it like the oatmeal packets
but you put milk in
you
it.
Put the milk in it?
Just eat dry oatmeal?
Yeah.
So it's like a bar of oatmeal, but you dip it in like milk? That's interesting.
I don't really know how to
describe
Weetabix.
I mean, we have like the breakfast biscuits where it's like a hard cookie.
Like, yeah.
But is it like made out of just in a block of like wheat? So it's like a thick it's like thick Wheaties.
Thick.
It's like it's like a half-inch thick. I don't know how many, like 4 centimeters thick.
I've never measured it, but yeah.
like a 4 centimeter thick Wheatie.
Yeah,
I would say that's
like
a
very hash brown made of oatmeal.
I would say that's a very generous picture of Weetabix there. The Weetabix is the top two. I've never had Weetabix where you've had fruit, banana, honey, a spoon. I've
never seen Weetabix with a spoon before.
Sorry, not a spoon.
Yeah, it's
honey,
like the
whatever
little
they're
honey
called.
thingy.
Yeah, the honey thingy.
I'm pretty sure
that is
that's
an
what they call it at
incredibly
Williams Sonoma.
generous. That is an incredibly generous picture of Weetabix.
Yeah.
But basically, it's milk and Weetabix, and it's lovely. I've been having
Weetabix.
So what you're telling me is that it's oatmeal.
no.
Is this like a digestive thing where you eat it because like you
Yes.
don't have enough fiber?
It's great for fiber.
Oh, so it comes out of the box like a mush, but when it leaves you, it's back in the bar form. I see.
Oatmeal.
It's just slightly skinnier than it used to be. It has to be compacted.
I've been trying to get Weetabix to sponsor me for like a year now. I eat it every day.
I like the idea
And
that you have a sponsored ad for somebody that isn't actually sponsoring, and you're just like, "Thank you,
just a big
Weetabix,
fan."
for sponsoring this ad. Call me."
Literally. They also do like these drinks called Weetabix. Can you clip this up and send them to? I would really appreciate this.
Sponsored content. Who would do something like that, especially while drinking the delicious Dr. Pepper with 23 unique flavors
It's just
every time you drink it?
It's just sad, man.
Weetabix is more healthy than Dr. Pepper. I'll say that much.
I'm an American. I don't care about my health.
I'll move on. Weetabix on the go it's great. It's also
Weetabix
like
on the
liquid
go.
form.
What is that?
That's what it's called.
It
Weetabix
looks
on the
like
go.
it's a handheld thing. That is what it is.
No,
Why
it's
are you
not.
gonna put it in a cup?
It's not like a DS. It's for fiber. Last time I checked.
Ah, my lovely,
Yeah.
lovely Weetabix.
Yeah, look at that.
But yes,
yeah. You just
Weetabix.
take out an Atari cartridge. Weetabix.
Weetabix is just
Actually, this is a Gen 5 Pokedex. Like, watch
Ooh.
if I pop this guy
Ooh.
open.
Also
Yeah.
helps with pooping.
oh.
I'm a bit concerned. What does it look like?
Where are we?
This is the longest
Jack-specific, tell me
advert I've
more
ever
about
listened to.
Oshawott, Tepig, and Snivy. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Weetabix, and the Gen 5 Pokedex for sponsoring this podcast.
And Weetabix.
Yeah. I'm available and
I am very much
easy.
available. I was about to say I work for free. We'll discuss.
You literally
We'll
just
talk.
did that, so you've proven
we'll
your
talk.
worth.
We'll talk
Yeah,
Weetabix.
nobody's getting money from this.
We're gonna need you to eat about 1.5 boxes
Did we
on
get
the
another-
stream every day.
Did we get another donation? I don't want to have to do another.
It was from me, and I've been asking. I
Oh,
have
okay.
like 5 or 6 more questions. So technically,
Oh,
the
good.
truth part, I'm just asking 6 more questions.
Okay.
I see.
Yeah.
Truth.
Don't worry about it. So moving back into our actual topic.
I don't think we need to.
No, I think we're fine.
Fine.
What kind of thought process kind of goes into selecting an organization to support? I know that people like to try to keep track of or do some investigation of what it is that they're donating to. You know, is this a cause that the money's going to go to the right place? What kind of thought process goes into selecting the organization to support, and what are the things that you look for when selecting an organization? And no, we're not supporting Weetabix, not yet. They don't need our money just yet.
I'll talk about that
So-
one later. going.
The biggest thing is always check your charities. Charity Navigator is probably the best resource for that when you're ever looking into a charity, to make sure that the funds that are given to them go to the right place. Just making sure that the charities that they're putting money into the actual effort rather than advertising awareness. There's a lot of charities out there that will advertise that they are raising awareness, and that's as far as they go. They don't actually put in the groundwork to do the actual effort to resolve the situation. They're there to basically be an advertisement agency that's disguising themselves as a charity. And you need to be very careful of things like that. So definitely being on the lookout for things like that. Finding charities that actively want to work with you and that will happily show you like where the money goes, what it gets contributed to, what it's doing, they can do they show what they're worth, and they are happy to show what they're worth. I think that's sort of the biggest thing for everybody.
Mhm.
As I said before as well, it's kind of like most charities are good charities to raise money for.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Odds are, if it's a charity, it's probably a good cause to get involved with. But like I said before about potentially doing like pop-up events and things like that. Obviously, the charity is very new. Like I said, it was made in 2020, so it was very much a here and now. This is a problem. We need we we can contribute to solving that and helping that.
Mhm.
That was kind of the big thing that made me choose that specifically.
Mhm.
In terms of how we decide future ones, I assume we'd probably just get together and
Okay.
see what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that in reality, it's just going to be based on what charities we're looking into, and then of course we might do one for charities that we have already worked for, and it's just a matter of, as Abra said, the number one thing is do your research, find out where the donations go, and that's the way to live,
Yeah. And ask questions if needed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then now we're going to talk about business. All right, so we can put on a little suit and tie. And
Sit back, I'm not good at this bit.
I would say you're the most professionally dressed out of all of us. So,
Well,
a little cacti.
He's got cactuses on his shirt.
That's right.
Come on.
yeah. This is my interview shirt.
Cactus shirt.
Yeah,
Heck
it's
yeah.
my lucky interview shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
So actually earlier, and Abra was the one to bring this up to me, right, a couple days before the stream, is that I actually had a misconception about Trainers Unite and how it's related to Pokethon in general. And we've already talked about this a little bit earlier, but can you explain a little bit in more detail, Abra, how Trainers Unite and Pokethon are related? And what does that relationship look like?
Okay, so to explain that, I kind of have to explain what has happened with Pokethon. So Pokethon originally was an event that I was kind of running out of my parents' house. But as we started to grow, our demands had kind of exceeded doing this in my parents' back room while they kind of suffered upstairs. And we had to get to a hotel, and a hotel is not cheap, so we had to start looking for sponsorships. And if you start looking for sponsorships, then you have to sign agreements. You have to do, follow these documents. You have to get a sponsorship deck. And like slowly but steadily, it becomes a lot more than just, hitting go live and having some fun. It becomes a lot more. And at that point, we kind of had to definitely shift from having Pokethon just be an event to having a limited liability corporation, Full Restore LLC, nonprofit, exist around the event as the business. Because when a lot of organizations want to sponsor you, they're looking to sponsor the organization that's around it, not the event itself, for reasons of their own and for things that they need to do on their side. And it's a lot of sort of technical things like that that kind of get it to that point. But in basically formalizing the team under Full Restore LLC, that means that they are no longer just some friends gathering and working together. They become, volunteers working for a nonprofit. And that's something that they can go and put on their resume, because some of these people have been doing this for years and have put in a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of heart and sweat. And for them to be able to use that to improve their lives in not just the charity method, but be able to put that on a resume and say, hey, for 4 years of my life, I coded the back end of this massive website. I designed and ran like these elements on stream. I did trailers, I did videos. And sort of basically giving it this formal umbrella that everything lives under helps a lot in making everything very real. It no longer becomes, the event that's ran out of, the back of my parents' house. It becomes an event that, that you put your name on, that you are proud to put as part of what you've done, it becomes a lot more. And it's no longer just about the event, but it's about the off season, the stuff leading up to it, the volunteers and the work that goes into it in the months leading up. It goes into the business size because I had to formally register an LLC in the state of Pennsylvania, and it is listed as a nonprofit. So I have a Patreon, and the people who, sub to me, their money goes into that as a source of profit. At the end of the year, I take that profit and I divide it amongst the developers. So that way, if we don't have, expenses that don't cancel that out, the people who have volunteered their time and effort do actually get some sort of, physical payment for it. And it becomes so much more because like all of these parts are going, but because they're so much more formalized, you get a rhythm, you get a guideline, a simple, like a structure to everything that allows you to just, keep this momentum and be able to not only make sure that next year is better than the last year, but you have everything in line so you don't have to worry about these sudden surprises of, we never thought of this, we didn't get ready for this. You don't have those as you keep doing this. Like, there's always going to be something new around the corner for sure, but you're not caught off guard by it. You're able to take those things, adjust to them, and work them into your advantage to make your events better, to make what you're doing better, to raise more money. It's learning pains and it's a lot of growth, but it definitely adds up over time. And it's a lot. It is to kind of, get all that in line. The formal differences, obviously, Trainers Unite and Pokethon are both events ran by Full Restore LLC, but obviously, they're tweeted by the same Twitter. The people running them are the same because it's the same staff on Full Restore. A lot of that lives in the same, and that's how it is. That's perfectly fine. All of the developers and designers and marketing team and producers who work on Pokethon are the same ones working on here, and that means they're able to bring all of their years of experience into this and make all the amazing logos and transitions and assets and bars and all of these amazing systems. They're technically different events, but they still live under the same umbrella. It's the same heart and soul that's driving them, and it allows both events to thrive and grow not only independently, but have this shared link that allows them to feed into one another. Yeah, it's a bit of a long-winded explanation.
I mean, really, it provides some legitimacy. Like, the LLC really kind of helps you with communicating with all these different organizations, but it also kind of puts some kind of emphasis on, this is what we're doing all this work for, and reiterating and working through all these different technical challenges and adding new challenges as technology like advances. I mean, I don't think this seems very, like, I'm thinking about just 2 years ago, before COVID and the pandemic hit and we had to do everything virtually, that a lot of different charity streams would see something like this as a very daunting task. And somehow everyone was able to make it work in all these, like, Zeathon, Zeldathon, Pokethon, BB4G, and just all of these different charity events that now have to kind of structure themselves in a completely different landscape, but everything kind of worked out. And so having something to kind of not only, like, again, legitimizes and validates all that effort, but then kind of gives you something to strive for and continuously is really important. And so we talk about Full Restore. What is an LLC and what does an LLC do? We kind of already talked about how it is impacting or benefiting Pokethon and Trainers Unite, but what is an LLC?
So the limited liability corporation, it's the technical term for an LLC, is basically it's not like a corporation in a way that, there's a structure of like a CEO and his board and shareholders and everything like that. It's a much more looser structure when it comes to ours, where I am technically the only name on it, and everyone else is volunteers. But I, without everyone else, am nothing. I can't do this event alone. Everyone's a part of it. So it basically makes it so that there is a formal business that exists that to encompass everything, rather than one person. It gives it sort of that bracket, and that's actually kind of important when you start having to get insurance for venues, and you start having to get sponsorship deals with organizations that want to give you a lot of money, but you have to then give that money to hotels. You have to do that for planes and transportation. Um, it allows for that money to exist as a business instead of going through your hands, which also makes it, by separating it from your hands, it gives the money, I guess, legitimacy in transit in a weird way, to kind of say it. But it means that, throughout its entire process, it's the business's money. It's not my money.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't go into my bank account. It doesn't sit in, it's the business's. It's not mine. And by that process, it allows the formalization of a lot of those things when it comes to sponsorships. Sponsorships aren't writing checks to, Jimmy B at his parents' house. They're writing it to an organization with an address, and they're, when we're trying to navigate these deals and make sure that everything's in line and buy insurance for venues, which is something that's very important. And especially with a lot of events, when we start to come back, a lot of venue spaces are going to be in these houses that people rent out for a weekend, or hotel venues. You need to get insurance nowadays. You can't just rent it out for a week with your friends. You've got to go through a formal process where you sign your name and your business to it. Because if something happens and if you don't have those protections in place, all of that liability is going to fall on you rather than the organization. And for a lot of guys like me, I'm not living paycheck to paycheck. I'm glad I have that luxury, but if I was to be hit by something like that, it would ruin me financially. But because the business exists and I put in that effort, the business would in turn take the hit. But I have purchased insurance, I have gone through the proper channels, and there are prevention methods to make it so that, the responsibility is limited to what I would directly face. And there's protections and laws and all sorts of processes that make it official and nice. It's a very hard shift from moving it from being with a bunch of friends in the back of your parents' house to this is a business. And it's hard. It has been one of the most daunting challenges, is to go from the friend to the executive director. Because there are times where, we're friends, that's fine, don't do it again. But when you're a director, that conversation isn't the same anymore. When you're a director, that conversation is, you violated the rules, you did something that was outside of terms of conduct, there needs to be punishment. It's a scary formalization, and that's kind of the brutal honesty of it. And when you get to that sort of level, is when you get formal, you have to strip away some of those things to make sure that you continue in a formal sense, because you want what's best for the event and you want it to grow and prosper. I want Pokethon to be a 6-figure event one day. I want Trainers Unite to be a 6-figure event one day. I want to proudly display $1 million+ on the Full Restore website as a number we've raised. But I can't do that as a guy running out of the back of my parents' house. I have to be the businessman who makes those hard decisions and, gets rid of the bad eggs and has to cut the wheat from the chaff. And you have to put your butt on the line and put a lot of time and money and my personal finances into a lot of these projects, but you also have to keep yourself responsible and transparent and honest.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of work, it's a lot of pressure, and that's why I have people on my team like Jyggy. That's why I have people on my team like Kelly, like Freya, who are able to help me with these massive responsibilities in running the many things that make these amazing events work. And to be able to do them, and to have somebody like Hawk come along who puts in so much legwork and is able to essentially help us through probably the hardest part of an event is cold calling and cold messaging people. And to be able to already have that step done and be like, hey, do you want to work together on this? Oh my goodness, man.
That's a slam dunk.
Yeah. So it's just it's a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How has that process kind of been for you to have to put on that suit and tie? You kind of explained a little bit of what that looks like, but how is that what has that process been like for you?
It was very difficult, I will say. Because in my personal life, I wouldn't say I'm childish, but I wouldn't say I'm immature. I bought a house. I moved out of my parents' house. I live in this house and I hold people to rules and everything. But I honestly don't feel like a lot of the responsibilities I have sometimes are things that I deserve or can properly wield. But here I am, doing these charity events, owning a house, which still baffles me to this day that I own a house. Like,
I'm right there with you.
like they trusted me with a mortgage. I don't know why, but they did.
Yeah.
Okay. But like to just it's weird because a part of your brain still thinks that like some of the things are still like the friends doing this together to work together. But there are moments where you have to get knocked out of that and you have to be like, no, this isn't it. We have to be smart. We have to be professional. We have to do things the right way because we don't want to fall into the pitfalls that we've seen other events fall into.
Mhm.
It's intimidating sometimes to put on the suit because you don't know how people are going to react, because most of the time when they see you as the happy-go-lucky friend. And when you put on that suit and you have to, give them that stern talking to, it's not fun for any party, but you have to do it. It's the eventualities of running an event on these sorts of scales. And I myself, every day, have to learn to be able to put on that suit and be able to put on that suit faster and to be able to direct people with a more stern voice.
Mhm.
I think that's kind of my biggest weakness is my voice isn't as stern as it should be. And I know that. And I'm working my best to make sure I continue that. But a lot of this is making sure you are improving yourself. The biggest thing is having that introversive look to be like, what am I doing wrong? What can I do better? And let me talk to the others to make sure I'm doing it better.
Yeah. I mean, you were just talking about like this whole whirlwind idea of like getting a house, and it kind of made me think like, do you feel like that process, that LLC process, and all of a sudden this suit and tie, like you just kind of have this whirlwind of all of a sudden it's all done, and you're sitting and looking at the final product. Either you're looking at this house you just closed on, or you're looking at this business that you just created, and you're like, what the fuck? How did I get here? Like,
yeah, no, there are so many moments where like I just no, when I got this house, I just sat in the living room and stared at it and was just like, this is mine?
yeah, you don't
I
remember
bought this.
the paper process. You really don't.
I remember I got like Wendy's afterward because it was right outside, but that was it.
Yeah. Yeah. It can be a really daunting, but I think like everyone has this idea of like, oh, I'll do something when I'm ready, like when I'm physically or emotionally ready for it, and unfortunately that never comes. Like especially getting like my experience getting a house is like, okay, I need to feel ready, like I need to feel like I'm at that point where like this is my house now, or like I'm gonna do it. But then all of a sudden you have a house and you're like, wait, I wasn't ready, but here I am. And then as time goes on, you're kind of like, no, I guess I was ready, like I just didn't realize it. I don't think there's ever going to be a point where you're like, I'm super ready, I'm super like, this is things will just come to you that have to get done, and all of a sudden here you are, and you've done it. And I think you've done an extremely good job about coordinating not only just Pokethon, but this event with Hawk and everyone's help as well. So give yourself a little pat on the back.
That's very appreciated.
Yeah.
I'll plus one that as well.
Yeah. Rose in the chat as well.
Yeah.
Don't be too hard on yourself. It's a daunting task. Like just everyone thinks like there's a point where you're suddenly like somebody hands you a piece of paper that says you're an adult and you sign it and it's like, okay, I'm an adult. I have taxes now. But really that doesn't occur. You're just like, things just kind of happen and you're never going to be ready for it. And you just kind of have to roll with the punches and figure out, all right, this thing is happening now. What am I going to do? And sometimes you're going to make mistakes, or, sometimes you just blow through it completely. But just being able to kind of navigate through those times is going to be really important. And I think everyone here has done an extremely good job.
Thank you.
So I think
this
pretty much
got
covered
emotional
everything.
really quick for
Yeah,
some
thank
reason.
I was going to ask those follow-up questions. So this is a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that covered everything for the business section. Everything about the suit and tie and everything. So let's rip that off. Let's talk about the future. Hopefully you have something under the suit and tie. So what would be one major misconception about charity streams, fundraising activities that each one of you would want to clear up? Maybe you each have like a different thing that you would want to discuss, but what's like one common misconception that you would want to clear up?
So back when I started doing it, it wasn't super easy to coordinate with charities, to coordinate with a lot of the ways to do things. There wasn't easy ways to collect money, and now there is. Honestly, raising money for charity is going to Tiltify, signing up, grabbing an asset off Streamlabs, popping it onto your stream as the top layer, and hitting go live. It's so easy to raise money for a good cause. And I know that people, use their Twitch streams as ways to, make money for themselves, but it's so incredibly easy to raise money for charity. I'm amazed that, like how much it's gone and how much it's moved forward over the past year or years. Ever since from the days of you have to basically beg a charity to create a PayPal. And then from there you had to get like pitch in box or chip in box because there was no way to do the merchant profile. But back then Twitch had like a pitch in box integration. So they got rid of that because pitch in box apparently was ran on like a Russian server that we accidentally crashed because we tried to get the logs from one year. Yeah. But like, it's so much more of an easy process. It's so much more of a better process. There are so many more tools and ways to do it. And all of it really comes from just hitting go live.
Mm-hmm.
All of it really, really, and it's crazy to think, but the moment you hit like go live, it can just become a reality and you can do so much.
Yeah, I think I want to say that was our conversation in the Pokethon episode we did a while back. Like back when a lot of the charity streams were just starting, I think unless you were Extra Life, like it was really tough to figure out how you were going to get everything set up, how people were going to go to donate, how you were going to deliver that money to the charity. And now it's no longer really an issue because Tiltify, and I think there was like another brand out there that kind of does this as well, but like Tiltify is the biggest one because of its integrations, but like now it's just super easy to do it. And so something that was like a really daunting task before is now very like pretty streamlined. Like I'm impressed with how easy it is to do it. It is, as you say, just create the charity through Tiltify, get the asset from Tiltify, copy the URL, throw it in, slam it in OBS, make it your top layer, and hit go. Mm-hmm. It's pretty great.
Maybe a Twitch button too. Maybe something in your Nightbot chat.
Yes. Yeah, that would probably be really helpful. Jyggy, Hawk, anything from your ends?
I mean, it's one of those things where the way I look at it is if you want to give back, this is really just the way to start doing it. And in reality, whether you raise $1 or $1,000, the charity is gonna, it's gonna make a difference. And it's one of those things where I think the biggest misconception that I always see people worrying about is, well, what if nobody donates? And I don't think that it's something you should really worry about, because you as a creator, you you and your community, like we said, if you get $5, you get $5 for charity. It's something to not be ashamed of or to be worried about. And you should do it just because, well, you can. That's really it.
Yeah, I think that's a really big one.
I know at Direct Relief they can make $5 into like $200 worth of supplies. It's something crazy like that.
Yeah, they have a really
But a
good.
charity can do a lot with a little. So even if you only raise like $10 from grandma, that still means a lot, does a lot. It's crazy.
Yeah, and the more people that can kind of let go of that idea and just stream, that's a lot of $10 charity streams that people are doing. So just having the numbers and just having people that want to just do it, and the fact that it's so easy to do, it doesn't really matter if you raise $10 or $12,000. Like, that's still a lot of people donating and a lot of charity that's being driven. Hawk, how about you?
Well, I'm a bit annoyed because Jyggy stole mine.
I'm sorry.
Pass.
It's okay, you can steal mine.
So I'll extend it a little bit.
Okay.
In terms of like what Jyggy said, in terms of how much you raise, I think a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on getting to their goal. So somebody, if you've never done charity streams before, you might put like 100 as a goal, or 500, or 1,000, or whatever. I think for Trends Unite, I think we have 30,000. Is that right? As our overall goal?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people get bogged down in that similar thing with just donating, but if you don't reach your goal, you're a failure. It's completely the opposite. Any amount gets turned into some amazing opportunities for somebody else, and it makes a difference somewhere in the world. You might not physically actively see that difference, but $5, $1, $100, it all goes to something amazing. You're all contributing it. So I would say try not to get bogged down in your final numbers, and this kind of bleeds into streaming tips as well, but don't get bogged down by the analytics and by the numbers and by constantly thinking, oh, there's 15 people here right now watching my live stream and only one person has donated. I must not be very good at convincing people. It's not quite how it works. You got to keep going at it. Some people can't donate. There's all these different sorts of things. So I would say try not to get bogged down in your final numbers as well, because any amount you raise is absolutely fantastic to any particular charity that you're raising for.
Yeah, we've raised.
And you'll drive yourself insane if you aiming particularly high. But even if your goal is 100 but you get 50, that's mental. That's absolutely crazy and amazing, and that's fantastic. Sorry, Abra.
Yeah, we've raised $1,440 so far across everyone, and that's crazy. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's over $1,000 raised that would not have been raised if you guys did not go out there and put in effort and put in the time and put in your hearts and souls. And that is something that should speak merits and volumes to what you guys can do.
Yeah, no, I perfectly agree with that. Like, one of the big things I try to do when I'm doing a stream is that I immediately turn off the viewer number. I don't want to see it.
Don't get me started on that. Me and Jyggy were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
You should be able to create a great show. The goal as a streamer is to create a great show, and you should be able to create a great show for 2 viewers or 200 viewers. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
That's a whole different podcast. We could talk about that.
Yeah.
all day.
Believe me.
And I
Very
fully intend
passionate
to
about that
someday.
I'm free.
Yeah, I'll just message you.
Do you have Weetabix?
Yo, Laughingboy got Weetabix? I didn't
If you
even
get it before me, you don't even know what it is. I will be right.
Yeah, it's just like oatmeal, right? Like you
Oh.
send the email back to like the social marketing team at Weetabix, like it's just fucking oatmeal, right? Like, all right, sure, whatever. I don't care.
They've not listened to anything else I've said, so I might as well try that as well. Why not?
We wouldn't sponsor you because that Laughingboy guy said that it's just oatmeal, and we don't want you
I'm
to.
not affiliated.
Yeah.
In any way.
Did I say I'd be in your next stream? I never said anything like that. Yeah.
Podcast? What's a podcast?
Podcast.
Yeah, I can't believe Jyggy's on a podcast too. What's going on here?
This is a talk show.
Where's my mark?
They've got Jyggy in
Oh yeah,
pod
it's a talk show.
Yeah. Look, that's what I wanted for all my talk. I want that like late night talk show feel, even though it's 3:30 p.m. on a Sunday. Like
don't get Jyggy started on like
just get that
Yeah.
Tonight
late
Show
night with
music
Jimmy
going.
Fallon.
Yeah, get that.
Like don't get Jyggy started on like the Jimmy Fallon and Conan O'Brien and
My nemesis, Conan O'Brien.
That's right. And
He's
then
in
you
New
just
York
have like
Threadbed.
somebody on a
fight on
kazoo sitting on your bed behind you doing like all the music.
Yeah, we fight on all the online forums. Me and Conan O'Brien.
No,
You say that, but like I also know that you've actually had DM conversations with Doug freaking Bowser. So like there's a part of me that's like, are you actually talking to Conan right now?
Yeah, he's
could
my
be.
nemesis.
Excuse me, sir.
Look, all I'll say is
There's only room for one redhead in late night.
yeah, and Conan's gone.
I don't think he's retired
okay,
yet.
he didn't stop the podcast, but he stopped the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think that Doug Bowser thing needs explaining. Just gonna say.
Doug is a very good person. He's a good person.
Why is he
Doug
just
shot
find
you,
out-
didn't he?
You just find
Doug
out it's
shot you in
Dog
1
Bowser,
Switch.
DOG
There's a
Bowser.
video of that.
It's not Dog Bowser, no, it's Doug.
Yeah, you've got a video of like Doug shooting you in 1-2 Switch,
Oh,
doesn't
he
he?
destroyed me when the
Yeah.
Switch came out.
What?
Yeah, he destroyed me in 1-2 Switch. Yeah.
That's great.
Him. I actually got to play video games with him. I did not get to play video games with Reggie. One day.
Call me.
Call me.
I've got Weetabix.
Yeah, could you imagine if Reggie gets another job at with Weetabix?
He's
That's
got a
the
GameStop soon,
1-2 punch. No, I think
Hey,
he
you
left
gotta
GameStop.
Did he leave GameStop?
Yeah, so Weetabix has a board of
Oh.
directors that's missing a seat. They got a seat to fill in. Reggie,
Go over there,
Yeah.
Reggie.
get over to Weetabix. Give us a call. We're free. I know.
I definitely am.
I'm more free. No, what are you talking about? Don't call me. I got 2 phones. Yeah. I shouldn't have done
I
that.
actually
I'm
have
gonna
2
get-
phones. I
I'm
got my
gonna get
work
banned
phone
now.
up here.
Nah,
I got
don't get
my-
me started. I
get the-
literally
get the-
I have my work phone. I slide it into the desk. Friday at 5 p.m. I never want to look at that thing until Monday at 9 a.m.
Oh God,
Eastern
I just
Standard
looked
Time.
at my work phone. I saw a bunch of emails for me. Nope, you don't
Nope.
exist till Monday.
Yeah, put it back.
You don't
Put
exist
it
until
back.
Monday.
Yeah. Get it away. What are the long-term goals for Trainers Unite? I know it's probably like the first Trainers Unite. You probably are kind of thinking like, I'm just glad to get through the week, but I'm sure that there have been some thoughts about what you would like to do long-term with Trainers Unite. I guess Hawk, this is more so a question for you, but if anybody has any ideas that they would like to talk about, perfectly chime in. Where do you go from here? What would you like Trainers Unite to do for
On holiday, preferably.
Aruba maybe.
Yeah, it's just Cornwall. I'll take anything. Cornwall's lovely, by the way. If you've never been, you should all go.
I was just thinking about the actual.
I thought you said cornhole,
Yeah,
not
I
cornwall.
was
No,
yeah, we can
Cornwall.
go to the local Wingstop and just play cornhole.
Is there a shop called Cornhole?
No,
it's a game.
cornhole is the game where you've got the beanbag and you got to throw it into the hole on a piece
yeah.
of wood.
Right.
Drinking may
Because
or
they
may
did it
not
with
be
corn.
involved.
We lead very different lives. Future goals. I'm very much hyper focused on. I really am a day at a time type of person. I really can't look forward too far. I would rather put a lot more emphasis on what's happening right now. But if I take myself out of that for a little bit, I would love for this to expand to be my main vision when I first came up with it was that it would be a complete like takeover. So like from the week that we started, the first day that we started, all of Twitch, in the Pokemon section at least, has got some form of Trainers Unite, all the way down to the bottom, from the top to the bottom. On YouTube, people are making videos on it. You've got TikToks going up about it, Instagram, all forms of social media. I would love to see a complete takeover. And in terms of doing the legwork for that, obviously we've got quite a lot of creators already involved and taking part throughout the week at different various points. But there's I was talking about this earlier. There's so many people streamers that I know that I've met since coming up with this idea that I know would want to be involved and I know would be fantastic for the event. So I would say just broaden it to be more of a takeover of sorts, where it would be really annoying for a viewer where you have to go on Twitch Pokemon and then you do not go through a single line where you don't see something Trainers Unite related, basically, and it just completely takes over the whole week. And I really want it to be, institution is probably the wrong word for it, but like a staple of the Pokemon community. I want it to be a place where people can shine, people can support each other, people can come together and really showcase what is good about this community. I don't want to get too much into the bad subjects and stuff like that, but obviously bad things happen in every community. That kind of is what happens. But I think it's important to really to focus on the people that are making a difference and are doing good and that have great content, are incredibly talented. So I would just love to continue to push and market and take over Twitch with what the Pokemon community can be about. Basically, that's my hope. In terms of numbers, just more would be nice. But
I would like more numbers.
Nobody ever says lower numbers. Oh, I want less people to watch. Nobody says that.
I just want
do.
more
it's
numbers.
A lot of pressure.
Like I only had 11, 22, and 13. I would like more numbers to be able to use. That's right.
I've got 7, 25, and you're gonna have to pay if you want 69.
What is this bit? Where are we?
I need more
I actually
numbers.
lost track. What are we talking about?
You wanted numbers, right? Look,
Yeah.
look, I can get you numbers, but some numbers are exclusive.
Yeah, exactly.
You lost
420. You're gonna have to pay for that.
Okay, no numbers. Basically, I just want everybody involved.
You know what? I don't even want the numbers anymore.
Yeah, who cares?
Just
a complete takeover, so that Twitch, YouTube, social,
It's all about percents
Twitter,
now.
Yeah,
100%.
At least 90% of Twitter knows about the event. That would be great.
Yeah.
Actually, no, not Twitter.
If Doug Bowser was retweeting Trainers Unite, that'd be fantastic.
That would be pretty. I mean, that would.
He knows about it.
Weetabix presents.
Did you send him a DM?
So I mean, Doug follows me, so anytime I retweet a bit or anything like that,
yeah.
So, hey, I'm just saying that they keep tabs on what goes on. You know, Nintendo is not that, like, they don't just sit here. You know, they do.
They actually are.
They do a lot of stuff. You know,
they keep their fingers on the pulse. They just don't show it.
I'm not allowed to say that I know about it, but give you a little couple winks. What advice can you give to anyone who wants to take this experience and start applying it for themselves? So everyone that's coming out of Trainers Unite, or anybody that's kind of seeing Trainers Unite and wants to try to do their own thing or join next year, what would be some advice that you can give to them?
just start broadcasting. You know, it's one of those things where it might seem scary. You might not know how to start, but there's so many communities and so many like people that will help you along the way. It's just worth it. You know, it's one of those things where even if you don't think you're entertaining, you probably will bring something, and you probably will, you will make a difference. You'll make a difference no matter what. So if, my advice is just start broadcasting. If you already are a streamer, if you already started streaming, or you just did, or you've been streaming for a long, long time, get involved. Get involved with the community. get involved. If you're, if you have questions, I know like myself and Abra, and I'm sure Hawk will answer anything when it comes about, this experience and what we're doing. But just get involved in the community. Get involved in in our creators. Get involved in what's going on. The Pokethon channel. This is the one thing I will say here is the Pokethon Twitch channel is not going to just go offline after TU and after our inevitable next event. There's going to be a lot of new stuff that is happening on the Pokethon channel, stuff that we are really, really excited to bring you guys, ways that new creators or ways that creators who aren't always showcased are going to be able to be showcased on the channel. We have so many new ideas, and just get involved. I want to see you in the chat. I want to see you in the Discord. I want to talk to you, because if you want to be involved, there are opportunities and there are ways to get involved.
All right.
I think the biggest thing is, Hawk, you've got your
Right,
hand
can I be
raised.
really selfish and ask to go to the bathroom?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. It's not going to mess it. If I turn my camera off, it's not going to mess things up, is it?
Yes, it will.
Yeah, it's gonna. You can.
Are you gonna go to the bathroom in your room right there?
Yeah. I'll just.
Yeah,
What do you got, like a
trowel.
bucket?
British houses are weird.
You got like a bucket right under you? What's
We've
happening?
just got holes installed everywhere, literally.
We just dig one in the backyard.
All drainage, right?
Oh yeah, I have to drain my pee hole tonight. I forgot. Do
Just
not
gonna
get the
not
holes
address that.
confused.
I just did a really great monologue about joining the community, about getting involved, raising, making a difference in the world. Hawk says, I have to go to the bathroom.
Yes. It really got me motivated to go to the bathroom.
I have to drain my pee hole.
Hey, yeah, but get involved in the community.
Oh,
A really small bladder.
it's okay. It's
Please get
okay.
involved.
I'm just
I'll
gonna
be
put a
right
fez over the
back.
camera like that.
There we go.
Oh,
Oh, that doesn't
Fine.
work. Oh well, you know what? We'll work with it. See you in a bit, everyone.
oh,
Oh, look at that. That worked beautifully.
Remember to leave the room first.
And mute.
don't forget to drain the pee hole. Anyway, so if you want to get involved with the community, do not be afraid to ask.
Thanks, Abra. Yeah, let's back to you, Abra. Let's talk about the community.
Back to you, Abra.
Let's raise some money for
We've got
charity.
some lovely charity going on today.
Amazing.
Yeah, anyway, here's
If you want to get
Wonderwall.
involved.
Straight from chat.
Oh, goodness.
Look, I
No, but,
never said I was professional. I never said
Did you
that
start with saying I'm a professional? Because, oh my goodness.
in jest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'm the worst. I may have clipped that. So
Oh, good. We can add it to the compilation for social media later.
that's right. Get ready. Don't worry. I clipped it. That's literally my last question, by the way. Does anybody want anything to go out on with this? Like, get involved with the community. Don't forget to, drain your pipes.
Yeah, drain your pipes.
Ask questions. You probably have an infinite number of questions when it comes to how this is done. What should I focus on? What should I do? Where do I go? How do I start? It's okay to have questions. It's okay to have that ignorance and to not know what you're doing. It's okay to reach out and get answers to those things that you need those answers to.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to, to show that you don't know these things and ask for help. And it's not in any way a detraction or a deterrent. It is empowering, because when you've asked that question and someone gives you the answer, that is knowledge shared that will help you grow and help you raise more money for charity. Speaking of which, do you have questions that the chat has asked us in that form?
Yeah, I was gonna say, is there any questions
I
before
do
we
have some.
sign it off?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so before we sign off, I do have a couple of questions, but if you want to ask any questions for Abra, Jyggy,
Hawk, did you wash your hands?
That's
I
a
did,
really
yes.
good
Okay.
question. Okay.
That's my question.
I
Hawk, did you
can
wash your hands?
confirm hands were washed. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
You have to dig another hole, but yes. Hands were washed.
It was clogged.
Yes.
Like I just said, do not ever get those drains confused. It's just a messy situation for everybody. But if anybody has any questions,
come to
feel free to
England
ask
either.
while we kind of go through. I have a couple of questions from viewers that either responded to me on Twitter or have responded to me on chat. And the
Does
first
somebody
question
wanna-
that I have
Is there
is,
like a form people can put in?
I don't.
Just people in
It's-
chat.
yeah,
Yeah,
just drop a
just
question in
jump
chat.
in
I'll
chat.
see
Yeah,
it.
just drop your questions in chat. I would love to. Yeah.
Question.
Yeah,
If everybody doesn't have a question, I'm gonna cry. So you all better question.
yeah. Question me up.
Oh, I've been questioning a lot of things ever since the conversation about 3 minutes
me
ago.
too.
But it's all right.
You'll learn. I have a very small bladder. I do apologize profusely.
On to the questions.
One of the P's.
Question time.
Yep, let's go.
Emperor P, who responds to me on Twitter, asks, how are you able to come up with such unique and clever incentives? I think this is a really big question because I think everyone gets really stuck on this.
I'll start with this one, and then we'll go down the line. I mean, incentives are kind of the lifeblood of a charity event, and there's two ways that they always go. You either go the route of streamer in pain, like I drink Windex, not actual Windex. You know what I mean? Drink. Yeah, we're not doing that. Drink hot sauce or sometimes something in my case where it's just like we're dump freezing water on your head. For some reason Twitch chat seems to like it when content creators are in pain. That's one that I have been really like kind of pushing away from in these. I feel like it's kind of too easy, and it's one of those things where it's something I would prefer nowadays for us to not do something that causes pain. Embarrassment is the other route.
Yeah.
Embarrassment is something that it's the duty of the broadcaster, it's the duty of the person who's coming up with these ideas, that if it's something that if it's something that the audience would like, that is kind of the goal. So for example, myself and Abra have worn, you could fill a book with the stuff that we have done for charity, and it's nuts. We've worn maid outfits.
Spandex.
A
lot of spandex.
Yep. Yeah, you've done complete spandex.
Mm-hmm.
I
pretended to be a luchador and got slammed around in a ball pit.
Yep.
I shared a banana with a man.
Yep.
Dressed up as Sonic, but actually was Knuckles underneath. That's kind of covered by spandex, though.
Yep. You did spandex multiple times.
Look, it was my only shtick for a while, and I decided that it died at like the 25th event.
Can I?
I'm done.
I had follow up on sharing a banana. That was very vague.
What does that mean?
Wait, you did like the Lady and the Tramp, the banana.
I will find the picture. Let me throw it in this chat.
I don't know if that's appropriate.
Does anyone know about the pocky thing in Japan?
It perfectly is. It perfectly is appropriate. I'm sure only our noses touched.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, leave room for Jesus.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you want to put that on stream, but you're more than welcome to.
Yeah. It's already. You just.
I did an entire thing of guacamole on my head, and then we put chips in my hair. I was painted purple, and I had to sing a song from Shrek the Musical, but I was dressed up as Thanos. Yep, that was a thing. But in reality, it's one of these things where how do you come up with these incentives? It's just a matter of doing something that you find entertaining. One of the really, really easy ones that we've seen at like TRG Coliseum, and I think at Pokethon and other events as well, is just the classic spray bottle. Right. And a spray bottle might not seem like anything crazy, but when you have these crazy creators, when you have as TRG's, in TRG land, it'd be like, Proton John and Chugga Conroy and all these. When you introduce something as small and some people would say insignificant as a spray bottle, that for them it's a complete and utter, like, it could raise $1 million. The joke at TRG was that a spray bottle basically got like $70,000 for the charity. It's a $70,000 spray bottle that costs like $2 at the store.
Mhm.
It's a matter of taking something that you or some ideas, what can affect your content. The spray bottle. What can, another really good one here that we did at BB4G. I talked to my friend Ganon11. He was playing Super Metroid, I was playing Metroid Zero Mission, and he says to me, he says, Jyggy, what incentives can we do? Like, do you have any ideas? He has a light switch behind him. He's sitting against the wall and he has a light switch behind him. And I made the joke. I said, well, I mean, you could charge $5, and then every time somebody donates $5, you flip the switch. He took it and ran. So then every single time somebody donated, he would flip the switch and something stupid would happen on stream. Flip the switch and his voice changer would make his voice really deep and it would sound like this until somebody would flip the switch. He changed it where it's just like, oh, you flip the switch and then all of a sudden they have negative colors. He basically took something that was like, I don't know, if you get like 50 people that donate $2 or $5 to flip the switch, that's what it is. And he made it an entire bit for the entire segment. And I'm pretty sure like he
It was
made
one of the
like
highest
close
raising
to,
segments.
yeah, it raised like close to like $1,000 just from people so flipping the switch.
Mhm.
Yeah, for I think a really good example that we had for ZUthon last year was as a donation milestone, there was a race between two content creators to play through Metroid Prime, because one of our staff members like known to be a big Metroid person. And he plays through Prime all the time. He knows how to get through. He can do it in like under 2 hours, no problem. The person he was against has never played it before. And so one of the donation incentives was to, quote unquote, check to see if the oven was on. And what that meant was that no matter where the contestants were, they would have to go all the way back to the ship to see if they left the oven on. And that was, I think, like $50. And throughout that entire segment, it got to a point where I think that one segment earned like $1,000 easy. So it's really like, what's the weirdest, maybe dumbest thing that you can think of, and how can you make it so that, like, I think the problem is like the other thing about coming up with an incentive is to tier it to an extent that if it's really easy and non in the way, then you can probably tier it lower. If it's something that can be really debilitating or can kind of get abused to the point of bullying, maybe give a little bit higher, like $50 or something like that.
Oh yeah, don't be afraid to adjust your prices too.
Yeah, that's true too.
Like, the thing is, donations and times and who can donate and when, that's always in flux. There's always going to be, maybe you get a nice little raid and somebody hops in who's willing to drop 20 things at 10. Or maybe the people who have been donating, it's like 12 o'clock for them, they got to go to bed. Things change. Don't be afraid to shift your incentives so that way it makes it more accessible. Or if something's becoming so much so it's debilitating and it's just a general annoyance, don't be afraid to say, hey guys, I can't keep doing this at this price. We do got to make it a little bit more. I apologize, but it's really hard for me to play the game like this. And I do want to get this done so we can move forward. So we're going to make it a little bit more so that way more money gets raised for the charity.
Yeah.
It's okay to do that.
Yep. Rose Cornelia asks, IDK, if this is a silly question, but I'm honestly curious, do charities ever react negatively when you pitch to raise money by playing Pokemon, since maybe they don't take it seriously?
No,
not any of the charities that we've ever raised for. I don't think I've ever gotten a message back from a charitable organization that said, don't.
And that was it.
They'd be pretty,
I think
the
the
big
big
ignore. Sorry, go on.
no, you're good.
They'd be pretty silly to ignore Pokemon in general, considering it's like the biggest franchise in the world. Like that would be, I think, a bit of a silly business move in terms of that. Anyway, sorry, Jiggy.
No. I think the big thing. It's not really a silly business move. It's more a matter of, I think back in the day, Abra, a long time ago, and this would be a question for like maybe Super MC Gamer or somebody who's been doing this a long time. It was really hard to get in contact with these charities. So it was less of we don't want you to do it. It's just we don't understand how you're going to do it and how we can help. And since then, the amount I would say I will say that like St. Jude kind of pioneered that, and then Direct Relief and many other charities have really stepped up their game when it came to broadcasters and what they're doing. But we really just basically had to explain to them more in an event kind of way. This is like a show kind of way. This is I used to always say back in the day, this is the modern telethon. We want to raise money for you by putting on a show, and this show just happens to be Pokemon, or Zelda, or the Runaway Guys.
Yeah. Anything else for that question? I have a couple of other random questions. I think they'll be pretty short. I think Kelly Selena asked who ate most of the banana.
No, I think we were pretty equal because by the time we were touching noses, we were about midway down the banana. So,
for those that just joined us, that will make no sense.
Yeah, well,
don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Should have been here 20 minutes ago.
True.
Yeah, twitch.tv. This is the best time to plug my own podcast.
Yeah.
Dragon Boy asks, do I need to be set up in a certain way to start streaming? And I think this is more maybe just a general question of like, what are the basics that I would need?
Focus on audio. If you got bad video but good audio, people will still watch. But if you've got great video, nobody's gonna watch you.
I absolutely agree. I think like audio is the number one. And it's as me, I focus way too much on branding. Like I love having a really clean layout, and I'm never satisfied with it. But like you can see a lot of really big time streamers that don't even have a layout. Like they'll just use their Discord as their background, and that's their layout. They have like 1,000 followers, and they've reached affiliate or partnership or whatever, and the video probably means the least. As long as it's competent, but the audio becomes the most important thing. Like absolutely. And really it's just about the mic. Like, if you want to have the little pads and everything that you can buy, great, but start with a good microphone and everything can kind of take care of itself. Just to add on to that.
The one thing I would say is I don't think necessarily, especially in the beginning when you're first starting to stream, I don't think equipment, obviously microphone, I completely agree. I think microphone is probably the most important thing. But I think in terms of when you're starting out, don't focus in on, I have to get affiliate, I have to get partnered, I have to get so-and-so, I have to get this many Twitter followers, I have to do this, blah, blah, blah. Basically, what I would say is, in the beginning, just think about experience and learning how to use your programs like OBS, Streamlabs OBS. Experiment with different things, layouts, graphics, alerts, all these various different things, because there's so many different elements that all come together to make the stream. You've got alerts, audio, webcam, game, graphics, layout, what chatbot you use for your commands, all that sort of stuff. And you don't find what's good for you until you experiment and try different things. And I think a lot of people tend to start streaming and think, right, I've got to do this by this amount of time. I've got to do this by this amount of time. I would say the most important thing when you first start is just gaining that experience of how does Nightbot work? How does OBS work? How does so-and-so work? Because to put it harshly, like, you're going to be starting off, if you've got no connections in the streaming industry or whatever, anything like that, you're going to be starting off with 0 viewers. So you're not really, or 1 viewer or 2 viewers or whatever. you're not really looking to impress is probably the wrong word, but you're not looking to create the best content you can at that specific moment. I think, to be honest, you should just be focusing on trying new things, seeing what works for you, and not just throwing money at it, and seeing if it's right for you first by gaining all this experience and just streaming and literally just starting. Just click the go live button, see what happens, see if your Nightbot command works, work at it on stream, and just keep going at it, basically.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Mm-hmm. Don't be afraid to be unique. Be focus on being uniquely yourself.
Yeah.
You got to have fun while you're doing it, and if you're not having fun, you're gonna stop doing it. You'll never come back to it.
No, there's like a statistic. It's like 92% of all broadcasters have or do it one time.
That's fair.
Like they do it once and then they never do it again.
That's another big thing. Schedule.
Consistency.
Try to keep yourself
in that schedule
consistent.
too. I mean, it's interesting. Like, you don't want to be so rigid that it's like, I'll always do it at this specific time, because if that time's not working for you, then you need to change it. But staying consistent and just being on and available, I think, like, and going back to what Dan was saying, there's an idea of like figuring out what you like. You know, a lot of Twitch streaming is playing video games or, you know, watch parties if you have like a really big community. But for me, there's, to an extent, I enjoy playing video games on Twitch, but what I really enjoy is talking to people. And so just sitting here and playing a video game by myself is difficult. Like, it's not fun for me in the same way that it could be for others. Especially if you have lurkers, and I'm not saying anything about lurkers negatively, and anybody that shows up and joins the stream is absolutely valid. But for me, it's like, even if I have 2 viewers, if they're chatting and I can chat with them, then that's excellent to me. And then I realized, like, I can just do this podcast thing through Twitch. So it took me a while to get to that point, but, you know, I found out what worked for me and what I enjoyed about this platform, and I'm trying now to make it work for me in that way. So definitely try out things. If you're not enjoying one aspect of it, or if it's just not working for you, definitely try something else, and see if that works for you, or figure out what it is you like about that thing, and try to make that work in your favor.
And you'll only do that with experience and trying again, because you're going to have so many. Again, if you have no connections or nothing, you're going to be having 0 viewer stream, 0 viewer stream, 0 viewer stream, 1 viewer stream, 2 viewer streams, 0 viewer stream, 0 viewer stream. There's no point in trying to put all your eggs in one basket in the beginning. Just do it, see if you enjoy it. If it's for you, keep going, but don't expect the world at the start of your journey, because it will not happen, basically. But just go into it with an open mind, test, try, experiment, and see what happens, basically.
Yep. I have a couple more questions, then we got to wrap up. But I think a couple of these are joke questions. But Socially Lissy asks, which friend would you take to Penn Island? I took all questions. If it had a question mark at the end, I took it.
So I'm guessing this is some subtle.
Yeah.
I see Dan's head shaking. No.
Okay.
Is this some place where I want to take my girlfriend?
What stop is Penn Island at?
No, it's last stop.
Okay.
Believe me.
Right at the tip of the route.
Weetabix is never going to sponsor.
Next question.
And my last question here, Thalsey asks, what is everyone's opinion on Dan's nose?
Why is it all about me?
It's a nice nose. I don't know. I
like his nose.
I think you have a very similar nose.
It's I have a witch nose.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
It looks okay. Well, it looks alright at that point. But when I do that, if I take these off, like I've got a little.
Yeah, you got the.
I've got a little indent here.
Yeah.
And then there's a bend.
Yeah.
Do you want to? How much time have we got? I've got a story about my nose.
No.
Yeah, so mine kind of does it. Like, I can feel the bridge going down, but like, yeah, I kind of like goes. Yeah.
See, now I'm self-conscious about my nose.
Oh, you're fine. Don't worry. You'd know.
That's for some reason one of the dumb things that I look at when I look in the mirror is just my nose.
I get reminded about it every day.
Yeah.
So
it's always right in front of you.
That's fun.
Everyone has a beautiful nose.
It's currently doing a very good job of holding my glasses up, so that's nice.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a team
That's
effort.
very-
You
Yeah,
get good glasses that fit, and you have
the ears hold the back, the nose holds the front.
Right.
Exactly.
So
Good job, guys.
I do not see any additional questions in chat, so I think we're gonna call it. This was pretty big. It was about 2 hours. I kind of was thinking it would be about an hour and a half, but I think we had a lot of good talks, a lot of good feedback from everyone, and hopefully this is like a good primer for everyone who wants to try and look into either joining Trainers Unite next year, maybe even this year, or trying to figure out how they can go about it on their own. I think this is a lot of good information that they can use to benefit themselves and fundraising events in general. So before we go, I just want to thank everyone for asking questions in chat. So everyone who provided their feedback or was lurking or listening in or chiming in. I mean, this has been a really good experience for everyone. And I want to thank all three of you for joining me here, taking time out of what is clearly a very important week for you to just indulge me. And, it's well appreciated by me. Where can we find y'all? And what are you up to? I mean, clearly, other than Trainers Unite, what are y'all up to? Just so if you want to put yourselves out there, Abra, we'll start with you. Where can we find you? What are you doing?
So right below me is this lovely at my Twitter, so you can easily go to at @awild_abra or @wild_abra, yes. Or you can go to twitch.tv/abra because I've got that username. Cool beans. I'm going to be streaming a bit this week. I'm going to do a Pokemon Moon Nuzlocke where I've randomized it and I've swapped out my starter for Abra. And you can donate to Stop AAPI Hate to convert some Pokemon on my team into an Abra. It'll keep everything, but it's just going to be an Abra. So I'll just eventually at some point be roving around the land with 6 Abras.
That's genius.
It's going to be great.
Nice.
Genius.
Sir Dan, where can we find you and what are you up to?
Twitch.tv/WalksideOut. I do streaming stuff. I don't I haven't actually planned what I'm doing this week, so I'm just winging it. Probably some form of shiny hunting with incentives and stuff like that. But yeah, I do streaming stuff and my Twitter
Fortnite
is
too.
there.
You can totally do Fortnite. I'm sure.
What's the channel point? There's a channel
Ariana
point.
Grande is going to be in
That's
Fortnite,
right.
so everyone's re-downloading.
Really?
She's gonna do
Yeah,
a
I saw
concert
it on
and
Twitter.com.
that finally
Really?
bridges the gap between Fortnite and Final Fantasy.
True.
Hang on, let me just.
Jyggy, where are you at? Where can we
I
find you?
just
And what
spelled
are you up
Fortnite.
to? Jiggy's doing Fortnite. Yeah,
You
we're all
can
doing
no, I'm not doing Fortnite. No way. You can find all of my information, contact, all that jazz at links.jyggy.live. So LIKS.JYGY.live. You can just go there.
Oh, hey,
and,
Trainers Unite just surpassed $2,000 across all the campaigns.
Hey.
Let's go.
Yeah. I think my big
That's
plans for this
crazy.
week, I'm gonna do Snap when the update comes out. That's gonna be really fun. That'll be for Trainers Unite. And then I have a Pokethon channel takeover on Thursday night. I don't actually know what I'm doing yet for that. That's the
schedule. It's just called Jiggy's streaming.
it's called Jyggy. Yeah. It's
It's
called
the Jyggy
Jyggy.
blog.
And then it says, like, if you go there, if you go to Pokethon.net right now, it's on the schedule. And it says Jyggy, and then with Jyggy streaming. Isn't that what it is?
No, with Jyggy 11.
Oh, with Jyggy 11, yeah.
You just get a Jyggy stream.
with
You don't
Jyggy
really get to.
11.
You don't get to judge. You don't get to call it. It's just a Jiggy stream, and you have to exist through
Yeah,
it.
when he shows
Yeah,
up, then we'll give him the information.
It will most likely be Jyggy versus Scootish, which is I'm really excited about. My friend Scootish, if anybody knows this is a really good show that I've been doing mostly for charity events. Where what we do is we kind of do a head-to-head competition in whatever game that we choose, and we have crazy incentives that people can kind of sway both sides. But he's moving right now, so I cannot confirm I cannot confirm Jyggy versus Scootish, so that is why it's called Jyggy with Jyggy 11 right now.
Okay.
There's no versus.
There might be a versus Scootish at some point in the future. We don't
Hopefully
know.
soon. I'll find out soon.
And if you'd like to see more DialogBOX, you can always follow me here on twitch.tv/laughingboyLP.
Go back and watch the episode I did with them 2 years ago.
And yes, you can also find previous episodes of the podcast over at youtube.com/laughingboylp. I also, all of the dialogue boxes since the last, I think, 3 or 4 have all been going on to actual podcasts. So it's a real boy now. You can go on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of that. I got some help to figure out how that worked. And so now you can listen to the audio form, slightly edited, on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. But please be sure to follow me here if you want to see it live with video. And be sure to continue donating. You can either use the donation link. I'll probably post it as well on the YouTube VOD once this goes live in a day or so. And, there's more there's more Trainers Unite going on the Pokethon channel, and you can continue using the donation links over there. So let's crack this thing wide open. Let's keep going.
You should definitely watch the Saturday stream, especially at the end, or we might announce something. Who knows?
Who knows?
No, right now, I'm really excited. Shen is currently playing Pokemon Coliseum, and he's going crazy. He's 1 hour in to about a 3 hour and 39-minute world record. It's kind of nuts. He has this science down, this math down, but it's still Pokemon, so RNG, you know.
Yep.
Oh, let's do a raid. So if you're watching this on Twitch, hold on a little bit, and we will do a quick raid. If you're listening to this on watching this later on YouTube, or if you're listening to this later on podcast services, thank you so much for being here. I love you.
Don't forget to clean your pee hole.
Don't forget to clean. Is that the raid
All right.
message?
No, it is not. That's a great way to get a bunch of
Shen,
man.
Shen's gonna freak out if that's it. No.
Don't forget to what?
What a big sponsorship.
Hashtag Weetabix asks to not forget to clean.
Can I be on the next podcast and talk about wee holes, please?
I didn't know that was my next episode, but sure, I'll hit you up.
Well, I've decided it for you. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, episode 27.
You heard it here first.
That's right. Well, I need to ask. Like I said, it's something I don't even understand, so it's a completely different
I'll
form
guide
of
you.
concept to me. So
I'll
please
guide you.
That's
explain
why
it.
you make these, though, isn't it?
I didn't make it. I don't
No,
live there.
the podcast. You make the podcast to learn about things you don't know about.
That's what I said. So he's got to teach me He's got to do an elevator pitch on pee holes.
I would not be able to fit it in an elevator pitch. It'd have to be a full-on PowerPoint presentation.
Start the raid.
All right,
Please.
we
I
will
don't
see
want
you
to talk about
later.
pee holes anymore.
Good night, everybody.
How do you spell it? Weetabix?
Oh,
Weetabix.
Weetabix?
Is this the
W-E-E?
Pokemon
oatmeal.
channel?
W-E-E.
It's just oatmeal. All it is oatmeal.
It is not oatmeal.
Oh wait, is it /raid? I'm always bad.
Yeah,
at this.
/raid.
Yeah,
All right.
it's not.
I have to edit this
No.
part and just have the ending here, and good
not
lord,
oatmeal.
I don't know what YouTube is gonna think about this.
Everybody
No.
go on over to the Pokethon channel.
Run.